What's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for an ML Sports Take brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Cicero and Clay Stanley Law Offices and Tiny Bubbles Laundromat. Make sure you get on over to Tiny Bubbles if you're in and around Central New York. Liverpool, Fulton, East Syracuse locations. Download the Pay Range mobile app. You can wash, dry, and fold laundry for only $1 a pound. What a deal at Tiny Bubbles Laundromat. These guys, the Buffalo Sabres, you know what I think? I think that the Buffalo Sabres, after the March that they had and certainly the April that they've had, I think next year's immediate narrative is playoff or bust. I think it's playoffs or bust for this team now. I really do. You look at the cohesion, you look at the guys coming together, the culture, all these different things happening inside the locker room. Don Granato has motivated guys. Don Granato is putting people in the right positions. He's a great communicator. Remember when they had Ralph Kruger and he was hired as a master communicator? Guy couldn't coach. Don Granato can actually do both, and now you're seeing the Alex Tuck, Jeff Skinner, Tage Thompson line. Who would have ever imagined, right? A guy who could potentially put up 30 to 40 goals in a season playing with other guys who can help you succeed. Remember, Jeff Skinner did that with Jack Eichel, and then, of course, time went on, and Kruger started putting him all over the place, and Skinner didn't know his role. Well, his production dipped. Well, look at him now. Whoop, production right back up. He's got Tuck, he's got Thompson. All these guys are buying in. They all want to be there. Peyton Krebs, I've seen plenty. Dylan Cousins should be bigger, better, faster, stronger next year at 3-4 years old. You've got Peyton Krebs, you have Alex Tuck, you've got Tage Thompson, you have defenseman Samuelson's been great this year. Yoki Haru has been great this year. Rasmus Dahlin is a different player under Don Granato. You've got now Owen Power, who will have a season full year next year back there. I think one of the big question marks for this hockey team will be filling in holes, veterans. Where do guys come up like Satirka and Jack Quinn? You know, are there going to be spots for those kind of guys? Do you bring back a Hinostroza, guys like that? The goaltending situation is really something that Kevin Adams has to figure out. They have Devin Levi, who's going back to Northeastern for a year. What about Portillo at Washington, or at Michigan, excuse me? And then you have a situation going on as well with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who was playing very, very well this year and got hurt. And that changed his entire season, and now he's been kind of finishing it out down in Rochester. Dustin Tokarski, maybe, he's probably a number 2. Craig Anderson's 41 years old, probably wave goodbye to him. But you've got to have a guy who is going to start you 50 to 60 games. You've got to have a Demko, a Shesterkin. You've got to have, a Kemper. I mean, you got to have You got to have a goalie like that, right? Who's going to give you 50 to 60 every year. And I think Ukko-Pekka could be that guy. I'm still very, very high on him. But if they can figure out that goalie situation, and then they put it with the defense, and they put it with the forwards, with all these lines, the chemistry, they're starting to learn how to play with each other, love playing with each other, picking each other up. They've beaten, if you look at their schedule, they've beaten some pretty darn good teams, in March and in April. They took down the Maple Leafs Heritage Classic. They won on the big stage. Even in losses, they were right there till the end. Capitals, Rangers. They've beaten some really, really, really good teams. And I think that after we've seen March and April, listen, next year is it. You got to make the playoffs. You haven't made it since 2011. I think it's possible if they fill in some gaps here and there. Do you go after a Nazem Kadri? Do you go after some other guys? Maybe some star power, and then fill in some gaps there. What about Kyle Oposo's future? People like that. I mentioned Hinostroza. I'd love to have him back. He's a nice third, fourth line guy. But they do have cornerstone pieces. They've got guys there. Put the C right on the Alex Tuck jersey, and let's go get the playoffs in 2022, 2023. Mike Lindsley with you here. It's the ML Sports Take all over the social media platforms, a part of the ML Sports Platter. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, download and subscribe to my podcast, the ML Sports Platter. I had Kevin Kernan on today from Ball 9. Awesome conversation with him in terms of chatting Major League Baseball. Got Adam Kimmelman coming up later this week from NHL.com. We got Liam McHugh coming on from TNT NHL coverage. So cannot wait for those conversations. You can get new and archived episodes into your phone just by hitting follow or subscribe. It's that easy. And look, if you have an Apple phone, it's pretty simple. You find your apps, you type in podcasts. If you don't find the podcast button on one of the main screens as it is, type podcast, the purple button comes up with the, sort of the sound logo. You tap that, you type in ML Sports Platter, hit subscribe, hit follow, depending on what series of cell phone that you have, and boom, you'll get Adrian Wojnarowski, Bob Costas, Armin Katayan, Ian O'Connor, Baseball Hall of Famers, Kevin Kernan, all kinds of great stuff on the ML Sports Platter. We are brought to you by our great friends at the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group, Ken's Auto Detailing, Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, and Rosie's Corner. In and around Central New York, get on over there this Friday for Fish Friday. Oh my goodness, it smells so good in there all the time. Pizza and wing combinations available along with the Slice app. Makes it easy to order. rosiescorner.com for more. Facebook and Instagram, Rosie's Corner, a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.